we good? All right. Justin Drew Bieber. Justin Drew Bieber. Present and future, visible and visible, we want to know. And we want to know, will Halle Baldwin sacrifice him? You guys are fucking ruthless. Is his marriage part of him being handled? What is draining him? What is he trying to avoid? Is the church behind managing him? Is it about the money? Okay, I don't know what that means. That was kind of vague, bro.
Sorry.
Is it about the money? What?
With the family.
Did they set him up with the family?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Is the Baldwin family taking advantage?
Is he meant to be with Hailey Bieber? Haley?
This is a good question. Are they going to unalive him and make it look like an OD?
Are they going to unalive him and make him look like AD? That's actually a really good question. Anybody else got one? Right now, say it or forever hold your peace.
Yeah, someone said, is Selena Gomez's true love?
Wow, you guys, se pasan, no mames. And for what's hidden and hidden behind darkness and the God of the saints with answers to questions. Too many questions. You guys are getting carried away. First two coming out.
Are you recording?
Chingas madre. It says that the past left him out of balance. This is interesting shit, the way it starts. It talks about the past leaving him out of balance. It says, and there's magic that was done. It says there are three things that continually are playing along. It says in the past, it says family. It's family. It says, and presently, it's talking about being brought to his knees. Or he was on his knees, one or two. Ooh, that was a bad joke. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I apologize.
You hear always.
All right. And then it says, well, because that's mean. I shouldn't say that. That he was taken advantage of as a kid. So I apologize. Okay, so, and then in the future, it talks about justice. Justice. But it talks about Justin Bieber. So it's talking about justice. Okay? Relationships, justice. It's talking about that. Going up the ladder, and everything, so you guys know, is facing that way because this card determines that this card is the past. Okay? It talks about hanging there, like he was hanging there. It said, and a big change. It talks about a big change coming. Interesting. It says, he's afraid he's going to lose everything. It says, and sometimes he just wants to go away, which makes a lot of sense from everything we know. It really makes a lot of sense. And then the three of the left talk about he's not happy. It says, a woman who offers, he's not happy with the woman who offers him love. That's Haley.
Yeah.
And I think we all kind of see that, right? And then it says, and the devil's behind a lot of this. Evil. There's evil there behind a lot of it. So evil behind her. Evil behind Haley. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but it's saying it. I'm going to have a bunch of Hailey Bieber fans going off on me. Just like they did with fucking Liam Payne. But I was right. They were talking shit. No, how can he didn't use drugs? He hadn't used drugs and
And then fucking all
and then
over
the toxicology,
shit.
the toxicology report comes back,
went off.
and he was on so many different drugs. It wasn't even funny. It says, will there be burden or will there not be burden? And I think there's always been burden. That's just what I think, but we'll see. As far as what he's trying to do now, and if you guys don't know, so he's been, he's going to this church, he sings, and that must be a rush for the whole fucking church. So that church is making money hand over foot. Tell me they're not. You have a celebrity there who's singing songs. They're making money off of him too, and he doesn't realize they're making money off of him. Yeah. I'll put $100 in the dish, but because I'll put $1,000 in the dish. Yeah, because he's there. All right, so let's get into it. Vanessa, can I move that deck over that way? Mm-hmm. Please, thank you. Sorry. Okay, let's pull this one out. Interesting reading. So already it's talking about, unbalanced from the past. And it's funny because I just brought this up. That song right there says, those lyrics say a ton of things. That he's going through stuff, that he didn't think that, all this shit could happen to him. And now that, he has all this money, all this stuff, it can't take away the way he feels. It can't take away what happened. And now everybody knows his past. And his house has always been made of glass. In other words, just like everybody's house is meant to be broken, destroyed, which is interesting. And it says, and he finds himself unbalanced. And when you think about it, he goes to find God after he's this famous singer, right? He goes to find God, and the only reason you go find God is when you know something's missing. And the only person that can make you feel better about it is the big guy. And that's how I feel with him. Like, the only thing that changed my life after wanting to kill myself and throwing myself to drugs and alcohol and everything else I did was the big guy. The big guy made me believe, and I'm with him 100%. It says things are incomplete in his life, It says, and he's not happy. It says, you know, there's a woman, so it talks about a young girl with money, and it says, who stresses him out. Over what? Like, what should she be stressing him out about? Like, what he's doing, money, like all kinds of shit. So in other words, that to me tells me she's handling him. She's trying to keep him in check. And it's funny because you see them, they're not ever like together. Like I seen him with Selena and he was all over her nuts.
There's a video where like he took off with the skateboard and you see her eating shit trying to chase. Sam, put the video on this.
Look, right here. Go down. You go on the other side.
Go ahead, you don't fall. Don't fall. Oh my God.
That is horrible. But it's saying, you know, she stresses him out.
He walks in front of her, leaves her behind, or like they're not together.
But that's what I'm saying. Was
like,
this
real bad?
I even said this before we brought up these questions.
He tells her, shut
Did they
up
put her with him
to
handle him because of everything he was going through? Yeah. And you know, she's not a bad looking girl. I mean, she's a good looking girl. It says again, unbalanced, no balance. Money can't balance him. And he says that in the song, like, you know, maybe that's the price for money and fame. To be unbalanced, to be fucking, and a lot of your stars are unbalanced.
Yeah.
Because life is moving so fast, and you have to keep up with it to keep making money.
It just eats you alive.
And not just that, when you get accustomed to live a certain lifestyle financially, you have to continue to make that money. When your fucking mortgage is, you know, $20,000 a month, because you got $1 million or $2 million, or no, maybe like $20 million home, like that's some shit. So it's saying no balance. He finds no balance in money. It says magic. It talks about magic, dark magic, magic. It says a woman who loses her spirituality. It says, and no fruit on the trees. In other words, maybe there's a woman who's manipulating, I don't know who's managers, and it says, and a man whose heart goes upside down. It talks about him because he's a man now. So it's talking about, you know, a woman whose spirituality goes upside down, and, you know, there's nothing good that comes out of this. This could be her, who's probably, if she's in that stuff, then that's her spirituality. And doing this to someone would turn your spirituality upside down. It says, it turns him upside down, his heart upside down. It says, and with no delay, like something that's happening quickly, that the problems will go away. In other words, to get him stable again, to get him to a place to where you fall in line. Okay. It says there are 3 things, which is interesting. It says, true love. Does he truly love himself? It says, because the road is wide open, like real love. It says, and lots of opportunities to find it. It says, but no lover. So he's not cheating on her or anything like that, but trying to find truly love himself. I think that if I had been abused like that from a young age, and I was molested at a young age by a woman, but if I was being abused by people who I trusted, or they were men, and I'm bending over, you know, taking it that way, I think I'd be really fucked up. Yeah. I think I would be really messed up, and I think it would continue to keep coming back to haunt me. So again, talks about that. It says, but no destruction. In other words, he's trying to find a way, and God is always the way. I'm not going to say that. I mean, as long as you're looking for the real God, not the God that needs money. Because if you guys looked at everything in the Bible and you look at the Old Testament and New Testament, it even shows in the Old Testament, like God was like an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. I know him to be like that. He's ruthless. But then here comes Jesus, and no offense to anybody who loves Jesus. No, not there. Don't take that wrong. He comes out and he says, no, turn the other cheek. Hit me again. Hit me with your best shot. And everything's forgiven. And here we go on. And so you went from the God of ruling and power and fear, which I fear God, to it's okay. You can do it again. You're forgiven tomorrow. And so that raises questions. And there's a video I'll post for my chat. It's going to piss you guys off, but I'm going to post it anyways. You guys will be like, oh, shit. Okay. It talks about, you know, he's not happy. This card means discontent, you know, and even though there's cups standing and you see cups laying down, I mean, no matter what, he's got money. He's wealthy, right? So he doesn't really have to strive for anything. I mean, he's famous, but still the cups are down on him. And that's where he's saying, maybe that's the price for money and fame, because I'm still fucked up. I'm sick and nobody even cares. Like sick maybe in my head mentally. So that's interesting. It says, and the sun doesn't shine. It says it takes away his energy. So you guys we're talking about this. So, and this is it's pouring. I was going to say this even earlier. when you're constantly dwelling on something that has affected you traumatically, it drains the fuck out of you. It does, because you're constantly thinking about and blaming everything that's happening on your life on what happened to you when you were younger, because you can't find resolution inside. And so that's why I'm really big on bringing your past into your present, because it will haunt you. It haunted me. I had to forgive my dad at 29 after him, fucking up our whole family and doing all this shit. But that shit, I blamed myself. So I think a lot of that is pretty indicative of the fact that you asked what's draining his energy. This is the past. You get molested by, I don't know, me might like that. You get molested, no, you probably wouldn't, but you get molested by a bunch of men at a young age. Where do you feel your worth is?
Yeah.
How do you feel about yourself? Like,
you don't love yourself. That's exactly
the girl that I was with, the reason she ends up taking her life is because she was abused by her father, and then because she falls into the sexual part of her life, all these different men are abusing her. Yeah. And she ends up taking her life because she can't handle the pain anymore. That's where I think people get to a point where they feel like they're failing.
It's a vicious cycle.
It's a vicious cycle. It's a really vicious cycle. It talks about relationship and it talks about justice. And what we know right now is that justice is coming. Because, but again, I don't think he's even there anymore. I think they have someone who's standing in for him. Or I truly believe that he's no longer in jail.
Well, they raided the place today.
Why would they do that?
The feds raided
Not today. They raided it a couple days ago.
Was it? No.
Earlier this week,
They're
yeah.
saying that they spotted him out in somewhere, and that it's
well, they raided him because that jail has a poor shit of whatever.
So that
why would they
he's
put
on
him
safety
there?
watch. Yes, he's on safety watch. But here you have all these different
Look what happened to Epstein.
That or he's got
and
enough
they dropped
pool.
the ball on that one.
That or he's got enough pool to where they have to protect him before he opens his mouth and he fucking destroys everybody. And they got him out of there.
Shit, you're right.
And maybe they made a deal with somebody like, look, here, you'll do 10 years, whatever, we'll get you out of there later. No one even notice, no one even care, and we'll take care of your whole family for the rest of your life. Yeah. I mean, if I had to do something like that for my wife or my kid, I would do it. I would do it so they could be well off. I would do it. All right, here we go. It says, and it talks about justice is coming for a man who had a lot of money. That's Diddy. I mean, I look like Diddy because he looks white, but that's Diddy. And it's saying, and we know that he's a part of that whole thing. It says things aren't going to work out. Things aren't going to work out. It says, but yet there's no end. And what he means by that is this is still going to happen.
A new person.
R. Kelly went down, and here comes P. Diddy. And it's just like the drug cartels. It's too much money to be made to walk. And I'm sorry, and I don't condone this, guys. There's too much money to be made with trafficking and hurting children and essaying and all this other stuff. And the only way you can control powerful people is to be able to blackmail them.
Yep.
And that's why there's tapes. And so it's a sad, vicious circle. Come on, that's the insurance to keep him from everybody. Yeah. I mean, you have the president on there, or someone. No, I'm not saying the president on there, but if you
a whole Diddy party endorsing Kamala.
Yeah, and it's funny how all these different people, and Jennifer Lopez was part of those parties, and now she comes out and endorses
pictures of her.
Yeah, I saw them. I saw the pictures. Mm-hmm. She comes out and endorses them now. So what does that say, guys? That's saying that now they're telling them, you better get out there and use your influence to endorse it, because if we lose this election, everybody's going to go down, because everybody's coming out of nowhere. And Martha's still voting for that bitch. Here we go. It says, can't believe you. It says,
I'm not going to put this on social media.
It says that there's things that are left hanging. Like there's things left hanging in his life. He's hanging there for Justin Bieber. It says, the party and the celebrating the women. It says, that was all dark times, trying to cope. It says, and he hasn't quite reconciled with himself. And I think that's the hardest part. When things happen and you don't stop them. Like if it happens once, you know what I mean? You're like, fuck, man, I'm never going to let that happen to me again. But if things keep happening and money and power and fame are more important to you at that moment than what's going on inside you, you're fucked.
Kind of like you have accepted it and you're allowing it to happen.
But then you feel guilty for it later. The guilt is what's going to destroy you. Guilt will destroy you and stress you to the point where you could end up losing your life. So it's very interesting that he hasn't reconciled with himself, and he's trying to see himself now, but he hasn't quite forgiven himself, because he could have said no, right? There's a lot of things. Fame, butt cheeks. Fame, butt cheeks. I mean, that's kind of what it is, right? Gave the butt cheeks to get famous.
Didn't protect him. That just, I'm
Dude, come on, guys. There's tons of parents that aren't protecting their kids that were working for Disney.
But that's what I
Nickelodeon.
mean.
And they literally were having these parties
Yeah, that's
where
what
they
I
take them and say,
mean.
you can't be here. You can only leave your child
the
there.
hell I would leave my child
that's
there.
what I told
Shit.
Eddie.
They would start saying that the parents are divas, not to let them on set.
Well,
and
then you know what? I take my kid and my diva
Yeah.
ass out. You're not having.
And now I
access
go
to
on
my
TikTok
kid.
and I make my kid famous
Yep.
myself. Or I take
Yep.
them to
You're
Who's
not
Got
having
Talent.
access to my
or,
kid. Shit.
Or American Idol something. But I'm
some
not going to put
parents
my kid
aren't
there.
thinking like that.
But that's what I mean.
Yeah, because they're thinking about the
Divino.
money because they're
Yep.
conservatorships.
Yep.
They know they're making money off those kids.
Yeah, they're following.
Hey,
the
can we go on to
Britney.
Justin Bieber?
Go.
Okay, it says a relationship. So his relationship talks about his personal relationship upside down. It says, and him upside down with her offering love. So kind of like, if you're gonna give me something that I don't feel or is not real, because it did come out of left field, right? They came out of left field all of a sudden, Haley and him.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think that that's not his true love. It doesn't say Selena yet. Relax, take a deep breath. We're almost there. It says a big change coming. It says there's no karma on him. So he suffered, and that's what I tripped out when the little girl died. When I asked God, like, did she pay karma because she had come in lymph and she shot herself and all this other stuff? God said, no. How can I blame her for everything she suffered? Like, she went through a lot of shit, and it became a part of her. It says he needs to return to being a good guy. He wants to be a good guy. It says it's true what we're saying here. My card pop was saying it's true. It says, and God's upside down. So God is upside down with everything that's happened. Because it's shitty. This is happening everywhere. Because the devil wants that to keep happening because it creates more people who are dark and evil and tempted. Interesting. It says the fear of loss. So he's afraid to lose. What is he afraid to lose? It says he's afraid to lose his fortune. Like he's afraid that, not to be able to make money. It says, and there's no triumph in that. Like he has to have money to keep going. It says there is an obstacle. He doesn't want to go through hardship. It says, and have his world turned upside down. So what better way to express how you feel about what's going on around you than to sing about it? And nobody can say shit. Nobody really knows what he's talking. He's not direct about what he's talking about.
Well, no one's gonna question it because he's.
But the song is saying, like, we're interpreting what we think the song means, but he's not telling you exactly what he means, but he's telling you he's hurting. And so that's the only way he can express himself is through his craft, through his art. Powerful shit. Haven't seen the Baldwin family. They're over here. Well, I don't know if you guys are going to want to get into that card. We'll see. It says that there's things he needs to leave behind. It says money. So money pops up. Things he needs to leave behind. What's wrong? It says he needs to leave money behind because death is coming. You guys asked that. Death is coming, and it says, and it should be very clear. Like, he's in this whirlwind, and what better way to get rid of another witness than to keep throwing all this shit out there? It says the word.
He misses daddy.
It says, like, he doesn't know, there's no other road to go down. Like, either I do the God thing or go back to the dark thing. And the dark thing hurts. I'm not talking physically. I'm talking about spiritually. It says, he's trying to be strong. He's trying to tame that beast inside of him, the things that are happening. A lot of interesting stuff here. I'm glad we did this reading. You guys are asking if she's going to sacrifice him. Here she comes. Because it says, not happy with the girl who offers love who's with the devil. Hold on a second. Now, we just said she goes to church and they belong to this church. And this is why I have a problem. This is why no, she's not a Scientology. It's Christian, right?
Hillsong.
Yeah, this is why I have trouble with church because it's man-made. God says, give up all your money and go to the poor. These churches are big. And pastors, I don't give a fuck.
Oh, dude, they're mega churches.
These pastors,
No, I'm just saying that
these pastors are bawling.
That we
Yeah.
don't get banned.
They're
People-
bawling, but they're bawling. Why wouldn't you live a humble life if you're teaching people to be humble? Oh, because I'm the pastor and I know everything. Doesn't that
I
remind
need
you?
a private jet.
Doesn't that remind you of when you see the movie with Jesus, and the rabbi comes to him and says, "How could you be so blasphemous? And how could you? Who are you? You're just like me. You're a person just like me. How do you know who God chooses?" You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy. Here we go. So it's saying unhappy with the person who offers him love, and then it talks about the devil right in the middle involved. It says in his home, and it talks about his money. It says things are complete. It says, but there's no triumph. It says, and slowly, it says, doesn't want to be a fool anymore. So you get wrapped up into this shit. Like Jim Carrey, I wonder what got him to shut up. Dave Chappelle, they got him to shut up, but he's still doing his thing. What?
I think Jim Carrey, they killed his girlfriend. That's what
His
shut him up.
fiance or something
His
like that.
fiance.
Funny how people that shit happens all around, right? And specifically to them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's coincidental when somebody dies or someone's murdered or something like that.
No, him.
But the fact that
That was his
all these
fiance,
different
too.
this is the fact that all these different celebrities have something going on with a family member. I mean, I know we all have family members, but immediate family members. I mean, but yet Denzel Washington, who's not involved with any of this shit, is intact. His family's intact. It's kind of interesting. It says he doesn't want to be a fool anymore. Right? It says the burden, will there still be burden on his back or will there not? And it says that there is depression. He's going through depression. It says, and he feels like, there's no new beginning, like nothing new. It says he wants to return to love people, to loving himself. It says, but going forward, will he make the right decisions? And I think this is where you get cornered. Suddenly you're not getting the work, you're not getting this, and you need to get work. So you go, I'll spin that wheel. I spin that wheel, but I need a movie deal. I need this, I need that, so I can get back on top and make some money. So making decisions moving forward, it says, he doesn't want to battle no more. He doesn't want to fight no more. He doesn't want to, sacrifice himself anymore. It says, to his defense, and it's talking about defending himself, it says he wants to break that circle. So I think that's why he's fighting God. He's trying to break that generational curse, that circle of where he's involved in the same thing that all these other artists get caught up in, and this is the way it works. You keep doing stuff, we keep filming you, we still got you. Let us release all this shit. You know what I mean? That's some embarrassing shit. It says, there's a woman who's upside down with him who has money. So I don't know who this woman is. It says, but this is something he hasn't mastered. So like I would think that all of them have handlers. If you're asking if there's a handler, definitely I think she's a handler, but there's someone above her. Like I said, I think it's a pyramid. Whether you become this person, that person, and suddenly you become the top person. And so it's saying there's a weakness. It says, and he feels alone, which makes sense. I felt alone when I was going through all my shit. It says he doesn't want to be brokenhearted anymore. He doesn't want the past to come back to cut off his head. It says he just wants to be free. And I think at some point artists feel that way. I think even Elvis felt that way. He even said it like, I just can't go anywhere, can't do anything.
I was just going to say, they can't even go to the store.
No, he's not free. It says she's not angry with him. It says, and he's not angry with her. And I'm talking about Haley and Justin. It says their child is upside down. They have a gifted child that's upside down. It says, but he's impatient. He's become impatient and he feels like he's running out of opportunities. I thought it was a good read. I think, you know what? Powerful shit right there. And I think it's because I kind of feel for him. When I listen, most of you people listen to music and you listen to the beat. You never really take time to decipher the words. You can hear the distress in anybody who's singing music. You hear The Weeknd, he's just talking about getting some pussy, like sex. That's all he's talking about for the longest time. And then they'll have a song that comes out of nowhere. Look at Selena. She was making music, whatever, and then one day she comes out with that song that kind of depicts her life. She had to get stronger so she could let him go. What's that song called?
Lose You to Love You.
I Gotta Lose You to Love You. And it's true, she was thinking about him. She is. She had to lose him to love herself. And I think that's a very lonely feeling. When you have to lose what you want, and you've been through it, when you have to lose what you want so that you can move forward. It's very lonely and it's empty. And I think losing yourself is one of the most emptiest feelings in the world. It's when you lose yourself that you look back and be like, oh, what an idiot I am. How humiliating that I let this keep happening to me and happening to me.